Cheers everyone, welcome back to another video. We all know someone in our lives currently, maybe somebody from the past, who talks a big game, who always has these big dreams, who always has these big goals and talks about everything they're gonna do, everything that they're gonna accomplish. But you meet this person, maybe it's at a family gathering, maybe it's been a couple years, more than that, 3, 4, 5 years gone by, and they're still in the same place. But every single time you see them, they're talking the same thing they were like 4 or 5 years ago, but nothing's changed. Maybe you're even one of these people. There's a lot of people, especially when you're young, that have these, that's why they say like youth is wasted on the young. They have these big, lofty goals. People when they're young, they want to change the world. They always say, I'm going to change the world. And as you grow up, as you get older, you realize if you do want to change the world, the fastest route to do that is changing yourself, turning yourself into somebody that is capable, because you think you're capable of changing the world. But if you don't have the track record, if you don't have the evidence to support that claim, then it's going to be tough to do that. You have to do something that commands respect, that's going to command to get you into a position of influence where you actually can make these types of impacts, make these types of changes. And if you are ambitious, but you find yourself in the same habits, stuck in the same habits, in the same types of, like you're living a Groundhog Day, like you are repetitively wishing and hoping and wanting your life to change, or wanting this big overarching goal, or wanting to become a millionaire, or wanting this or that, and it's not changing, then you need to start by becoming that different version. You have to leave that old version of yourself behind. You have to acknowledge, first of all, that version of yourself that you've been being doesn't deserve these lofty things. We trick ourselves, we delude ourselves into thinking that we're better than we are. But life, we live in a free market when it comes to business. When it comes to life, the same type of principle applies. Life rewards those who deserve the thing. It's not always true. Of course, anybody can find some argument of somebody that scammed their way to the top, or something that happened where somebody didn't really deserve it. And I understand that some people are born into more fortunate circumstances than others. But for the vast majority of people that find themselves in, whether it is that you made a startup company, of course, again, there's counterexamples to this, right? But many of the people that are achieving things is because they became a person who was capable of delivering that value. If you look at Elon Musk, for example, that guy he made PayPal, and then he made Tesla, and then he made SpaceX, and he's got all these different things. He's got all these different pans in the fire. But it begins with you. It begins with who you are, and ultimately that is what have you been telling yourself? Are you telling yourself that, I deserve X, Y, and Z because I deserve it, but you're not doing anything that also informs that? Because eventually you're going to feel like you're lying to yourself. And that's the trick. That's the caveat with all of these videos on manifesting, and all these videos on just your thoughts creating reality. Your thoughts do create reality, but your actions also create reality. The person that is reflecting, the person, even when it comes to let's say that you have this affirmation goal, you want to begin reciting your affirmations every day in the mirror, because you know that that's going to affect your self-talk. You know that that's going to change the way you start showing up. The lazy person thinks, I don't even need to do my affirmations. I don't even need to do it. I already get it. I already understand it. I'm smart. I don't need to do that. That's, they can do that. The person that's disciplined, the person that takes action consistently, does their affirmations every day in the mirror, rain or shine, is the person that is going to begin to shift their mindset, that's going to begin to shift their perception, that's going to begin to shift the lens through which they see their reality. So discipline is important. Discipline, it all begins with discipline. It all begins with that discipline to get the consistency, which is going to eventually get that change. If you want to change your personality, to change your reality, like Joe Dispenza says, you have to engage in these practices. You can't just ignore them. You can't just think that you don't need to, and then it's going to happen. Life doesn't work like that. So the person that wants to achieve, if you are ambitious but lazy, there has to be a certain point in time where you say, you know what, I'm tired of this. You're like, fuck this, fuck that. I'm going to do this and make a decision. And the word decision means to cut off the other option. So now you've committed yourself. Once you commit yourself to doing this thing, that's how you're going to build trust with yourself. You're going to build that integrity, that self-esteem. In the 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem by Nathaniel Branden, he talks about that, being impeccable with your word. That's from the 4 Agreements. If you're somebody that reads, somebody that is curious, and you have a curious mind, you read some of these books, you understand now you can stand on the shoulders of others, but you realize that by doing these things, by taking this action, it could even be reading. Of course, you don't want to get in the trap of just endless learning and endless student syndrome, which a lot of people do. At a certain point, you need to take action with it. And so when you're doing your practices in the mirror, when you're doing this inner work, when you're doing your self-talk, when you're doing your visualizations, whatever it is, now maybe you're going to therapy, whatever it might be, now you have to start showing up as that new version of yourself. And once you do that, your trust in yourself is going to grow, and it's going to have a compounding effect, a snowball effect that allows you to achieve, move the needle. The problem that we get stuck into is thinking, oh, if I just do this, it's not enough. This is too small. It's not going to move the needle, so I might as well not do it. The compound effect is real. The person that starts small, the person that's willing to fail, to take the small action steps today and not reap the reward today necessarily, is going to be the one that reaps the reward in the future. My crypto accounts, a lot of these people, I hear these videos. I saw this video the other day by this guy talking about how he lost $60,000 in crypto. Why? Because he had paper hands, what they call paper hands when it comes to trading, which is, oh, this coin's doing well, but the coin I invested in isn't doing well right now. So now I'm going to shift into this one. And then when you start doing that, by the time you shift into the coin that already pumped and started going up, now your coin, now that one's going to fall. And the one that if you would have held on to it, now it's ready to have its time. Now it's ready for its moment in the sun, and it's going to start pumping. But because you left and transitioned out of it, now you're losing your money. If you would have just stayed, if you would have just had faith, if you would have just practiced that consistent persistency and that discipline, control over these fleeting feelings, your feelings will tell you, oh, I've done enough. I don't really need to do that. When you begin to implement consistency, implement systems in place of, what am I going to do today? Starting every single day at the whims of and at the mercy of your feelings and your fleeting emotions, that's when you just begin to open the door to consistency. And that consistency is going to lead to progress over time. And really getting a hold of this internal narrative, these stories that you're telling yourself, is at the crux of all of this. Psychology is at the foundation of this. What is your psychology? Or is your thinking that, I want to get something from nothing? Because that is some of the most dangerous types of thinking that there is. If you look at anybody that you see in your periphery, that you see around you, and that has that type of mental attitude, you see that those are the most dangerous people. Those are the people that end up resorting to schemes and crimes and all kinds of things to get something without actually backing it up, without actually doing the thing. So if you want to get a control over these stories that you're telling yourself, you're going to have to engage in practices. You're going to have to begin by doing techniques. First, you need your training wheels. It's all well and good that people in the spiritual manifesting community, self-development community, some people are like, you just need to become this version of yourself. Well, how do you become the version of yourself? It's by doing certain things. And if you're interested in taking these steps to change and shift that internal narrative, shift that dialogue that's going on in your head, that's going to lead you in a direction where now it's, instead of it's being a slog, now it's fun. Now this consistency that I was avoiding, this discipline that I thought was taking away my freedom, now I actually feel more free by the fact that I set up these, see, it's a false dichotomy to think that by engaging in discipline, you're taking away your freedom. because something that's completely unrestrained, unconstrained, in a paradoxical way, now you're not able to channel any energy. You're not able to direct it in towards any purpose, any vision, any goal that you have. It's just unrestrained. It's just floating around. It's going nowhere because it's going in too many different directions. The minute that you begin to harness it, channel that energy towards this vision, this compelling vision that you created for yourself, that's the moment that you're going to start seeing these results. And you're not going to see the fruit necessarily overnight. It's the farmer that knows that he plants a crop of corn and he's going to wait till the season. He knows that it's going to grow in due time. That is the attitude that you must practice. That is the faith and the conviction which you must hold with your desires, with your goals that you are birthing into this reality. So if you guys are interested in basically taking control of this entire narrative, this entire dialogue, your words are powerful. And what you speak into existence tends to be true. What you tend to believe to be true is what you believe to be true tends to be true. But the universal laws still apply. If you don't actually plant the seed, if you don't actually tend to the seed, if you don't actually water the seed, you're not going to grow that crop of corn. So it's a paradox. You can't be fully invested in this, I'm just going to work in the 4D and I'm just going to sit there and sit on the couch and then all my wildest dreams are going to come true. There has to be both. You have to accept the material world as much as you accept the four-dimensional world and work with both. And that's when you get the secret. That's when all the people that have had success, that's when they get the success. That's when the success comes to you. If you're interested in learning how to take command over your mind, take command over these dialogues, over these stories, these narratives that go along inside your head that are informing the way that you behave, the way that you show up, and the person that you are, click the link in the description and download my ebook. It's called The Robotic Affirmation Code, the formula for successful manifestation on autopilot. If you're tired of sitting on the sidelines of life and you want to take control, you want to take life by the reins and command life so that life begins working for you rather than doing its own thing, then take action now. Begin to take action. Begin to use this as a stepping stone. And the more action that you take, the more belief, the more evidence that you have, even if you haven't gotten the results yet, you're at least stacking the evidence. Well, look, I took action on this. Look, I should be improving now because I took this action. Now I made this decision. Now I made this choice. Getting your goals is all about decision. Manifesting goals is all about decisions. I'm making a choice. Even if you make a choice about what you believe that this certain thing means, that means that you're making a decision. The faster and better that you make these decisions, the faster you're going to begin to create the reality of your choosing. That being said, guys, much love as always. Drop this video with a like, hit me with a comment down below, let me know your thoughts, and I will see you guys in the next video.